The most powerful motivator to move you towards the eventual realization of your goals and dreams must be the reason why you want it. Are you enrolled in your major at college simply to make a lot of money? Do you want more money to have more money? Or is it because you want more time freedom to enjoy your life, your spouse, or your children? Maybe you want to change the world in some way that you feel passionate about. Perhaps it is to bring home your spouse from the workplace so that they can be a full-time mom or dad. It may be so that you can travel the world. No matter what your why is, it is imperative that you get clear on it so that you're able to tap into it in order to gain strength and use it to fuel your way forward. This ensures that you do not quit when things get tough. And college is not easy. Having a strong why is the most powerful motivator for getting into action and staying there. This intense training helps you discover your own personal why and get clear on the reasons behind your motivation. This is a concept that can catapult you forward no matter what stands in your way, because you have powerful emotional reasons to achieve it.
So hello, and thank you for joining me for a training session today that is going to talk about the reason why it is that we do what we do. And the title of this is Discover Your Why. Because having a strong reason why that you are doing something is absolutely the key to finding the strength to keep going. There is some tough going out there, and I think there's going to be tough going for a long time. There is a lot of uncertainty in the world. There's a lot of problems that have to be dealt with, and so both in our own lives and globally. And so what do we do? How can we find the strength? How can we find what we need to sort of pull us along or push us through the obstacles that inevitably are going to present themselves? And when times are tough and when things may not be going our way and we're not seeing success and achieving the goals that we've set out there for ourselves, it's very, very easy to get discouraged. But if we have something that can get us to move forward and past that, because our focus is on that end result, it really becomes a very, very powerful force in our lives. And so this training is going to show you how to get crystal clear on your own why. And of course, that is going to be the reason, or multiple reasons why you're looking to improve or change your life. And it could be any aspect of our lives that we're looking to better ourselves with, right? It could be our financial situation, right? I mean, that's usually the one that's the biggest. People are always looking to make more money, not for necessarily the money, but for what it can do for us, because undoubtedly it is important. But we may want to have more free time to spend with our families, or maybe it has something to do with our health and our wellness. We're looking to achieve a healthier lifestyle. It could be something as simple as just gaining recognition for the work that we do. Maybe in our place of business or our job, we feel like we're not recognized, that we work and we've been someplace for a long time, and it's just, it seems like nobody appreciates us. And this is one that I found to be a bit surprising, but recently it's come to my attention that this is a very, very important thing for a lot of people. It's not necessarily somebody's doing something for the money, but they want to be recognized. They want to be told, hey, you're doing a good job. Keep up the good work. You're a valued employee, or you're a valued team member. I appreciate you. And I think a lot of us don't take the time to tell those around us in our lives, whether it's in our family or in our circle of friends, or perhaps in our business, or if it's team members or classmates or anything. We don't really, we've sort of gotten away from complimenting each other, because it's become such a me society, and the ego has become such a huge part of our lives. And we've been taught that we've got to look out for ourselves, and of course that's true. No one else is going to look out for us the way that we will. But at the same time, the only way you can really get ahead in life is with the help of others. And so by recognizing others and by having you be recognized by other people, that's a very, very powerful motivator. And of course, improving our relationships is another big reason why we may be doing something. Maybe we're trying to improve the relationships we have with others, or whether it's family or friends or whatnot. So the ability to determine the main reason why we're striving to achieve more out of life is it's really what enables you to keep going, even when you don't feel like it or when you're having a down day. And it happens to all of us. You can wake up in the morning with the best intentions, but, something happens, whether it's a problem with work or your car or your house or your kids or whatever, and something will throw us kind of off the path. There'll be a distraction. Or maybe it's just, you wake up with the blahs, I mean, it's happened to all of us where you just wake up and you can't get motivated. You just don't feel like working today. It's like, man, is it really a Tuesday? Why can't it be Saturday? I just want to go back to bed. And it happens, But if we have something that can get us out of bed and get us to be fired up about what it is that we're trying to accomplish, that's a very, very important thing. So that reason, or the reason that this is so vitally important to our success, is that the reason has to be bigger than you. It's got to be bigger than the individual. It's got to be so strong, so powerful, and so emotional that it's going to pull us along and motivate us to continue making progress towards the realization of our goals when we're having that difficulty moving forward. Now, your why must have such a strong emotional pull, and your emotions are really the key here, that nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, can stop you from achieving it. Okay, so some simple examples just to kind of set the tone here would include perhaps enabling a spouse to quit their job to be a full-time mom or dad. Now that's a really powerful motivator for someone. I would love to be able to bring, for example, my wife home from school. She's a teacher. She deals with a lot of issues and problems in education that didn't exist 5 years ago. That has made it difficult for her. I would love to be able to have the ability to bring her home to be a full-time mom. She would love nothing better, and neither would I, and of course neither would my kids. So that's a very powerful motivator for me to do more, to be more, and to accomplish more in my life. And it could be the same for you, but everybody's going to have their own unique reason why they're doing what they do. It could be, something like spending more time with your kids. Maybe you've got a job that doesn't allow you to leave at, 10 o'clock in the morning on, December 20th to go see the kids' Christmas play. That stinks. I mean, it's the kind of thing that only happens once. And, if you've got a job that doesn't allow you to do that, maybe just because of the nature of it, it may or may not be because of, a boss who's being a jerk or whatever. But, spending time with kids so that you never have to miss that play or that sporting event or some other important event in their lives. It's something that, you can never get back once it's gone. And it's something that I realized a long time ago, thankfully, that, life goes so quickly and children grow up so fast. And, it seems like my oldest was just a baby just a few short years ago, but he's 13 years old. And my, quote, baby now is 8, and my middle son is 11. I mean, I have 3 boys, 13, 11, and 8, and they're growing up before my eyes, and they're getting bigger and bigger, and my 13-year-old's almost as tall as I am, and I'm just going, oh, my heavens, is this really, really happening? And so it sort of motivates you to want to be there more for the children, especially when you see that happening. So, I mean, that can be a powerful motivator for somebody. Of course, having some fun too, like having the flexibility to travel where you want, when you want, without having to worry about how you're going to pay for it, is something that a lot of people would love to do. They'd love to go travel and see the world. It's a big, beautiful world out there, and there are so many places that, I'm sure many of us would love to visit, both within our own countries as well as, in other countries around the world. But it takes money, right? And so we don't want the money for the money. We want the money for what it'll allow us to do. So again, there are many, many reasons why. My question to you is, what's yours? Now, the best way to determine the real reason why you do anything is often very different from initially what you believe it to be. For example, as I was just saying, many people say they want more money, right? Somebody asks you, what do you want out of life? Well, I want to make more money. Well, it's not really to have more money. It's the real reason why is what the money's going to allow you to do, whether that's going to be, as I said, to travel more or to retire early or spend time with your family, etc. Having more money is what will enable you to do these things, but it is not the reason why you need more money. Okay? Just having it is not the reason. So I hope you see the difference, because that's really the focus of the training. And if you don't, it's okay. You'll soon kind of get that, because as we go through and I explain some of these exercises over the next 15, 20 minutes or so, I think you'll begin to see how it can really help you crystallize what is most important to you. And you may be saying right now, yeah, I know what's important to me, but unless your reason why is so powerful that when you think about it with conviction and feeling, it should make tears come to your eyes at the very least. You should just be so emotionally involved and emotionally attached to that reason why that it is that strong force in your life. And if it's not doing that for you, then you need to go back and revisit that reason. So in order to figure this out, as I said, there's a series of exercises that you can do that will take a little bit of time to complete. But as I assure you, if you do spend the time on them, you're going to be left with a reason why that is so powerful and emotional that every time you go and review it and read it, there will be tears in your eyes. And that's the reason why you simply must have a strong reason why you're doing anything in your life. You've got to become focused and determined and persistent, and this all happens when you have a strong desire to achieve a goal. And it's not enough for us to simply wish it would happen. Oh, I wish I could travel more, or I wish I could, get more time to spend with my kids. Wishing never ever makes things happen. It's a start, but it's got to go way beyond that, and we've got to dig deep to find out what it is that's going to allow us to do it, and then we got to put that plan in place to allow it to occur, right? So it is this major difference that is what enables a person to push through those obstacles and, achieve what may seem impossible to some of us. Now, I'm going to go through about 10 exercises, and there's some that I absolutely think you must do, but you don't have to do every single one of them, but a few of them are absolutely key. And so let's kind of just go through this here. The first one is real simple, but it's may not be easy. And I hope you know the difference there, okay? It's not a difficult thing to do in terms of concept, but it may be hard for you to come up with a real strong reality check of you and your life. So the first one is I want you to list some, if not all of the obstacles or barriers or limitations that are preventing you from achieving success. For example, an obvious one, maybe I don't have enough money. Yeah, okay, well, that's probably the reason that we could all put on our lists, right? We don't have enough money to do everything we want to do. But there could be some others, perhaps it's, you're in a bad marriage, or perhaps, and you don't have a spouse who is supportive of you. Okay, so, a non-supportive spouse could be a reason. You could be shy. Maybe you have a real hard time, talking with people, and that could be a problem that's limiting what it is that you can achieve because you're of an inability to easily connect with other people. Perhaps it's that you're not confident, or maybe you feel you don't have enough education to talk with people, maybe about an opportunity or a business or about whatever. The bottom line is you need to get as many of those self-limiting beliefs and as many of those obstacles down on paper and identify them. Okay? Identify these things that you're not happy about. What then will occur is we turn around and create an affirmation that is the exact opposite of what we just wrote down. Okay, so then what it allows us to do now, once we identify the things that are limiting why we're not moving forward as we would like, we write out our desired outcome. And then we repeat it over and over in the form of affirmations as you really focus and concentrate on it. And again, with strong emotion, and we do it in the present as if it's already occurred. And now what this will do is it will begin to program your subconscious mind. And you need to do this for at least a month. Now, 3 really isn't an exercise, but I put it on here because to sort of dovetail in with that, the main difference between humans and other animals, okay, there's a few, but the main one is that we have the power to program our own subconscious mind. Now, I don't know if you realize just how incredible this is, but any other creature on this earth does not have the ability to program how they act or how they think or anything like that. But human beings do. Unfortunately, we do it many times without being conscious of it. And so this is where we can develop bad habits. Okay? In order to program our subconscious, we have to pass conscious thoughts into our subconscious mind until it becomes autonomic. What does that mean? It's got to become part of our nervous system. Until it becomes a part of us, we have got to continually program ourselves. So it's important, and it's going to be much more effective if you can involve as many of your five senses as possible, so that your new perception is formed not just from writing something down and reading it, but from the sensory input that you're giving it. And I try to maybe come up with some sort of example, but here's an example. If you're someone who is habitually late, and this is something that a lot of us are guilty of, myself included, you can begin to reprogram yourself and work on that by not just coming up with an affirmation that says, I am always on time, I'm always on time, I'm always on time, but when you do it, you stop, you look at your wrist, and you touch it. Okay, so now you're not only saying it, you're looking at it, and you're touching it. So if you're looking at your wrist and you got a watch on it, I mean, you may or may not, it doesn't really matter, but what you end up doing is you begin to program yourself with multiple sensory input, and it makes the passing of those conscious affirmations into your subconscious much more effective, and it happens more quickly. Okay, so if you as this example is, I'm always on time, I'm always on time, I'm always on time, and as you do it, you're looking at your wrist and you're tapping on it, or you're looking at your phone where the time is, or whatever you do, it'll work a little bit differently for every one of us, no matter, according to how we operate. This will begin to change us from within. And once this programming period, which is roughly around a month, happens, you will not believe what occurs. And that is, your subconscious begins to take over. You don't even consciously have to think about being somewhere on time. You've got an appointment. Next thing you know, you're there early. And you're going, wow, how'd that happen? Well, it happened because subconsciously things were happening before you got to that appointment that set you up to be there on time. Some of it may have been conscious, some of it may not have been. Okay, so this is a really good example of how you can use multiple senses to achieve a goal. The same thing could be done with like a diet, right? If you're trying to lose weight, you could always take a taste of something real bitter when you say, I'm in control of my eating, and you taste something that tastes horrible, right? I mean, you could take this to whatever extreme you want, whatever's comfortable for you, but that's a simple example. Now, our environment also has a very, very strong factor in our mental attitude. So if you have, for example, a messy office, okay, or you have a neat and tidy office with everything in place, chances are that is going to reflect your dominant mental attitude. Okay, if you get a real messy office and things are scattered all over the place and you can never find anything and it's just a wreck and you're always stressed out trying to locate things, well, guess what? That's most likely a reflection of your dominant mental state. Now, on the flip side, it's pretty simple to start to turn that around, right? We clean everything up, we spend a few days and put everything in its place and label things correctly and put stuff in folders and filing cabinets and drawers and clean the desk off and, wipe it down and get rid of all the dust and rearrange things so that they're easier to find. You'll see that it begins to have a very, very positive effect on how you work when you're in that office. Because if you can now all of a sudden find things when you need to, it's going to reduce your stress level, it's going to make you more efficient, you're going to get more done, etc., etc. So one thing will play on another, but we have to recognize the symptoms of what is causing potential problems in our lives and what is limiting our ability to move ahead. Okay, dressing is another great one. When you get up, do you just grab whatever's in the closet or in the drawer first thing in the morning without really giving it too much of a second thought? Or are you real conscious about discovering what matches? How am I going to look today? How do I look? Is my hair tidy? Is my shirt pressed? Are my pants creased? Is my dress clean? Whatever. So these are all that's another subtle thing that we may not give too much thought to, yet it really can have an effect on how we feel about ourselves and, more importantly, how we're perceived by other people. Because if you're always dressing sharp and, looking professional and talking to other people and trying to involve them or sell to them or, interact with them, and it doesn't matter if it's on a personal or a professional level, you're going to be perceived as someone who's got their act together, and people gravitate to that. They like being with people, doing business with someone, having a relationship with someone that seems to have it all together, as opposed to someone who, a lot of times pretty obviously, flies by the seat of their pants. And so it's another simple little sort of observation that we can make. And those are just two examples that I wanted to kind of throw out there to kind of get you thinking about what is it that you can do when you look around and think, okay, how do I approach my day? Okay, do I wake up annoyed that I have to get up and go to work and figure out what the heck I'm going to wear and go deal with a problem customer or whatever? Or are you really prepared for that? Maybe you lay out all the clothes the night before that you are going to wear, so you don't even have to think about it. You're not stressing about it in the morning. Do little things that will allow you to remain in a positive state and allow you to really maximize the things that you have control over. And there are things that we have control over, and there's some things that we don't have control over. But, attitude is one that we absolutely do. We can choose to feel good or we can choose to feel bad. We can choose to have a good attitude on life, or we can choose to have a poor attitude. And how people deal with that and how people, sort of form those attitudes is a huge, it's a huge factor in what we can achieve. Having a good attitude is obviously going to allow us to achieve and to do and to be more than not. Okay, let's move on to the next one here. Now, some sample affirmations. Obviously, there are many, many depending on our individual situation, right? I've got a few of them up here. Very simple. Obviously, you can have them as detailed as you want, but I wouldn't recommend you get too overly complex with them. But, just a simple affirmation such as, every day I'm getting better and better. That's it. Every day I'm getting better and better. Every day I'm getting better and better. Simple, right? It's general, but it still allows us to start to program ourselves in how we feel. Okay? Think about if every day you woke up, you said, every day I feel worse and worse. Every day I feel worse and worse, right? It's going to have the opposite effect on us. And God forbid anybody says that to themselves, but quite frankly, there are people that feel bad and continue to feel bad and say, oh, today's a worse day than yesterday. I thought yesterday was bad. Oh my God, today's a horrible day. How much worse can it get? Right? What is that doing? That's not doing anything good for us, even if it is a bad day. You just got to stop and catch yourself and say, hey, wait a minute, tomorrow's going to be a better day. And even if it's not, you still got to keep the faith. If we don't like ourselves and we don't have a healthy self-image, then, that's going to be a big problem too. And so, if you're not real confident or comfortable in your own skin, that's going to be a limiting factor too. So we need to program ourselves for that, right? I like myself and deserve success. I like myself and I deserve the success. I'd rather even say I love myself and deserve success, right? Because if you can't love yourself, can somebody else love you, right? So again, a simple generalized affirmation, but again, it's one that can empower us because we can just start to tell ourselves this over and over and over again. And again, it begins to sink right into our subconscious, and then things are done by us without us even realizing it that bring us closer to the reality that we're telling ourselves we deserve before we're even there. Because, right, you got to start somewhere. Obviously simple ones, if you're just trying to improve your health, I am healthy, I am healthy, I am healthy. And you don't just say, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy. No, of course not. You've got to say it with conviction. You've got to say it with emotion. I am healthy. I feel fantastic. Even if you don't, and what will happen is you will begin to feel better and better as time goes on. Okay, and on the other ones, I have here just a few others. I am wealthy. I am confident. I am always on time. Or I have plenty of money. Right? These cover a wide variety of different areas we can improve in our lives. And, of course, use them if you want. Tweak them, change them, add your own. Do whatever you want. Whatever works, that's what we want to do. the next one here is fun. This is a fun exercise here, okay? And that is that we want to list the things that you want in life, okay? Anything. This is a fun exercise. It can be a new set of golf clubs or a new yacht. If money was no object to you, what would you put on your list? Okay, and don't buy into somebody else's dreams. If someone says, well, it'd be nice if I had this, and you say, yeah, well, that sounds kind of cool. I'd like that too. No. What do you want? What is in your dream? Okay, what is your ideal things that you would like to see happen in your life in terms of health and wealth and happiness and travel and home and everything, okay? And imagine that there's plenty to go around, okay? And one of the things that this is going to do, this is very, very powerful because it's not a matter of this or that, okay? It's a matter of this and that, okay? So don't think like, well, I could have this or I could have this. No, 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 no. That is a lack consciousness speaking. We do not want to have a lack consciousness. We need to have a wealth consciousness. And a wealth consciousness has no limitations on anything. So we need to begin to program ourselves for that. And by doing so, that's going to attract things to us that we put our focus and attention on. And what will happen is that things will start to happen. Okay? Good things, positive things, things that, we would like to see occur. And what a lot of people may do is, they may not completely be sold on this. They may see something and play it down simply as a coincidence. But let me tell you, there are no such things as coincidences. Okay? This universe that we live in is a very orderly place. If something is thought of and directed and attention is given to, the universe has got to put things into place to start to make that to occur. It happens. I've seen it happen in my own life time and time again. I've seen it happen in other people's lives, both good and bad. It's so true. So you need to realize that beyond the shadow of a doubt, this works. There is no such thing as a coincidence. And so, after you make that list, you've got to let go. And if you may recognize this from the law of attraction, but you've got to let go and allow it to happen. Don't think about why it can't happen or that it can't happen or what needs to occur for it to happen. Forget about that. Just allow it to occur. And so going forward, once you've written this down, you should have, fairly short list, doesn't have 1,000 things on it, but if you allow yourself to relax and calm your mind and focus your thoughts for just 10 or 15 minutes every day on what you want, you will be absolutely amazed at the results that will achieve and the coincidences that begin to happen to you. And you can still say, it's a coincidence. It's just a coincidence. Oh, there's another coincidence. Oh, there's another coincidence. Eventually, at some point, you're going to go, you know what? These can't be coincidences because this has happened now 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times to me, right? I mean, we all may, sort of, brush something off as a coincidence if it happens once and never again. But if you start to see things happen repeatedly, you will know that this works. And when that happens, that clicking factor occurs. And you will then say, you know what? There is something to this. This really works. And so when that happens, now all of a sudden you have even more faith in that it's going to occur. You're going to have an even greater belief and a stronger conviction and put even more emotion on it and even more attention on it, and things will speed up. They will begin to happen more quickly. And this will allow you to get to where you want to go faster and faster and faster as this happens. It's kind of like a snowball. It rolls and gets bigger and bigger and bigger and goes faster and faster and faster. It is so true, but it is so much fun because when you see it happen, you gotta sit back and say, wow, there is something to this. And what I recommend you do is you write down these things when they happen. Put them in a little journal. It says, here's a record of my, of the things that I have put down that have happened to me that I wanted to have happen. These are things that I've attracted to myself. These are things that I have reprogrammed myself to direct me to have happen. And look at, son of a gun, they've happened. Okay, and you can start small and work your way bigger. And, these are what's going to enable you to see just how incredible this whole process can be for us. Now, once you've got that whole list there, you might have a whole bunch of things on it, but what I want you to do is to narrow that list down that you made to your top 10. Okay, this is going to be your own top 10 list. Okay, so you're going to go through everything you found and say, what's my top 10? What are the top 10 things I really would like to see happen, or I'd like to achieve, or I'd like to go or be, or whatever on that list. And once you've decided on what they are, it's time to begin taking action steps towards achieving them. We just have to remember that, as that famous saying goes, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So, we have to take that first step. Now we have to take another one and another one and another one and keep going, because we're not going to get there overnight. Nothing's going to happen just by snapping our fingers and wish it happened. No, we have to be patient. We have to be persistent. We have to be consistent in working towards that end result. Now, this is another interesting one here, this number 8. And this is, make a list of all the things that you would not do if you had the money and the time. What do I mean by that? Well, think about it. If you had all the money that you needed, okay, you didn't have to worry about anything, what would you not do? Would you not clean your house? Would you not clean your car? Would you not do the dishes? Right? So these are things that, this is your kind of, you would no longer do list. These are the things that become goals of things that you don't want to do. Okay? You never want to mow the grass again. I never want to trim the bushes again. I never want to clean the pool again. I never want to vacuum the pool. I never want to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There has got to be things in your life. Maybe you never want to go food shopping again. Maybe it's a pain in the neck, right? There's definitely going to be things that you would love to not ever have to do again if you had the money and the ability to make that happen. And so what this does is, again, it becomes goals of things you don't want to do, but it creates opportunities for others to do those things. It also helps the economy, because if you're able to employ others to do the things you no longer wish to, what is that doing? That's helping the whole economy, or at least the local economy where you are. And if we all do our part as we go forward on this journey, guess what? It becomes a much better place, because now by us earning more and achieving the things we want, we can now turn around and have other people do those things that we no longer wish to do, which in turn drives the engine of the economy. It puts people to work. I'm not saying we're going to fix unemployment all at once here, but I am saying that if each person just tries to do a little bit, we can make a huge difference. Okay? And that's something that we all have to try. We all have to try. And there's only so much we can do. There's so many things that are beyond our control, unfortunately, but we can just do our little part to try and get to where we want to go. And when we get there, do our best to make some small difference. Now, number 9 is something that everybody should have done at some point in their lives already. And if not, I highly recommend you do this. Again, this is one of the ones that you really must do out of these exercises, and that is to make a list of all the things that you like about yourself, because there are undoubtedly lots of things. There may be some things you don't like, but there are definitely some things that you do. There are so many things that don't have to do with money or anything else that you like about yourself that you're good at. Okay? And these are things that we should be able to identify. This is kind of like your I have a list that's called my skills list, right? It's all the things that I'm good at. Every one of us should have a skills list, or a list of the things that we like about ourselves. And we've got to identify them, and they're there. Because if there's things there that we like about ourselves, there's going to be things that other people are going to like about us too. And so we can then, once we've identified them, then we can begin to exploit them. We can begin to use them to our advantage in our daily moves going forward to trying to get to where we want to go. Now, that of course brings me to 10, right? You have got a list of all things you like about yourself. Well, obviously, none of us is perfect, right? We need to make a list of the things that we would like to change about ourselves. Whether it's that we're shy, or we can't cook, or you're late, or not in shape, or et cetera, et cetera. There's always things that we would like to change about ourselves, and then we go back and we create that affirmation that is the exact opposite of it, so that we can immediately begin working towards it. So not only does discovering our why help us to identify what it is that's important to us, but it also then allows us to begin to change ourselves and become a better person as a result. So we work at this from a couple of different angles. Now, this last part puts this all together, okay, in this whole process. Now, there's kind of 2 ways you can do this. The one is easier than the other, but it's equally as powerful, I think, but it's a little bit more fun of an exercise or an assignment, if you will. This number 11, write down your life story as if it's over. Okay? When all is said and done, at the end of the day, your life is over. How do you want that life story to read? Okay? Imagine a front page article in your local paper that tells all about your fantastic life and all the great things that you accomplished. Okay? What this will do is this will help you set your goals a lot higher, a lot stronger, and it will also help you visualize and become emotionally attached to the outcome. Okay? And this will then allow these things to come to you more quickly. So, for example, if you have written down there in your ideal life story that, this person was a strong supporter of children's charities and made a huge difference in the lives of children that were unable to afford college education, and they established a trust that allowed disadvantaged children to attend college, or something like that. This is something that, if this is something that's important to you, well, by articulating that and putting it down and then writing it as if, this is something that you've already accomplished, that kind of is a wake-up call to you. It's like, wow, that's something I would really like to do. How can I make that happen? And so it begins to more strongly get you emotionally fired up to achieve what you've put down there as something that you would love to have seen be done by you in your life. And so again, emotions are a very powerful ally in our goal setting and our personal development. And having goals that do little in the way of stimulating our emotions just are not that strong, and therefore they're not going to really be that effective. So we've got to make sure that these goals of ours have a strong emotional pull in order for us to really be able to truly maximize our work in making those dreams become a reality. And if we keep this in mind as, we work through the exercises, don't do it just, as if it's a job, it's something to do. Do it as if your life depends on it, because it really does. So that's a fun exercise that is also very, very powerful, and it's sort of easy for most people to be able to do. Sort of write an article about their life as if it's over, and what have they done? What does that article say about you, this incredible person, at the end of the day, right? The final piece of this is to create and craft what is called your perfect day. Now, what this is an exercise that really and truly can change your life. It's an amazing exercise. It takes some time to do, but you can download it for free from the link that is on the screen right now. And this document is, about 10 pages or so long. But what this does is a lot of the things that we've talked about in some of these other exercises are all put together in this perfect day exercise. And what this does is this allows us to identify very, very specifically what is important to us, what does our life look like if we were living our perfect day. It allows us to craft all the details on our life, from what did you eat when you woke up in the morning, and where was that bed, and what color were the sheets, and where is that house, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you want to put in as much detail as possible when you do that exercise. What you see, what you feel, what you taste, what you smell, what you're experiencing in your perfect day. Does it wake up with you at your beach house, looking out over the ocean and the sun rising and smelling the salt air as it blows through the open windows? Okay, is there that ceiling fan above your head lazily turning and just letting that nice warm ocean air just wash over you? What happens when you get up and you go and make your breakfast? Is your automatic coffee maker or your Keurig or whatever, is it brewing your favorite pot of coffee? Okay, what are you having for breakfast? Do you have a bowl of fresh fruit? Are you having oatmeal? Are you having a bagel? Are you having a what is it that you are experiencing? What do you do after you eat? Do you go down to the pool for a swim? Do you pop open your laptop and check your bank accounts and check what's happening in your business? And so it's an awesome exercise, and what it does is when it's all done, After you've gone through the exercise, okay, this becomes kind of like a movie. Okay, it's like a little mini movie of a day in your life, a day in your ideal life, a day in your perfect life. And what you do is after it's done, you read it every day, and every single time you read it, it has got to be so emotionally powerful that it's got to bring tears to your eyes or make you cry or just make you feel so incredible and so overwhelmed and just so fired up and charged up to make these things happen, to see these things occur in your life, that's the fuel for your fire that gets you through the days when you don't feel like doing anything. You don't feel like picking up the phone. You don't feel like talking to somebody. You don't feel like going and exercising, etc., etc. Whatever it is, it helps you get that fuel for your fire to allow you to keep moving towards the end result that you've set out there, so that you can one day get to that perfect day. So that when that newspaper article is written about you in the future, and they discuss what an incredible, fantastic, amazing person you were, you will know exactly what it is that you need to do to get there. And so that concludes this training on discovering your why.